Loud and PaperX stay alive at the VCT Masters Madrid tournament, and Team Heretics and FPX are eliminated. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we are talking about the matches that happened today at the VCT Masters Madrid tournament, which was Loud versus FPX, and then PaperX versus Team Heretics. So looking at the board I put together, you can see that Loud did take that match against FPX 2-0, whereas PaperX versus Team Heretics was a closer 2-1 victory for PaperX. PaperX just barely squeezing that one out on the last map. We also have the matches that will be happening tomorrow to decide who officially makes it to playoffs, but we'll get to those ones later. Starting with talking about the match with Loud versus FPX, this outcome was to be expected. Loud being one of the contenders in the tournament, losing their first match against Gen G, who do look very strong. They are in playoffs. So with the tournament lives on the line, they had to beat a team like FPX, who they are expected to beat. FPX being seen by most as the worst team at the tournament, and unfortunately, none of those accusations were proven false. They did not win a map their entire time here. Granted, they did face two very good teams in Carmine Corp and Loud, but this outcome is to be expected with this Chinese team. They are seen as one of the best teams in China, but at an international level, not much is expected from them, and they kind of have some pieces that have done well at this tournament, but overall, not very much as a team effort. But giving them credit where credit is due, it's not like these maps were just a complete wash. Sunset was kind of like that, with Loud taking that one 13-5, but then Breeze was a closer 13-11 in favor of Loud. Loud winning their map pick on the Sunset, doing quite well on the first half, and then only allowing one round loss in the second half. Negatives across the board for that FPX team on that map, not anyone getting over 1 for their VLR rating as well. Whereas Sadek with a +11 with 18 kills, less +3, everybody else on Loud with a positive rating and a solid VLR rating overall. But then, of course, Breeze was a closer match. FPX did manage to get 11 out of that. They were leading 7-5 at halftime, but it wasn't enough to be able to stop Loud from having a very solid side on defense. And with Breeze being maybe a bit more of an attacker-sider map, maybe with the changes that happened to it recently, that it may be a bit more well for defenders. But overall, I do kind of see it as a map that is better for the attackers, so FPX did put themselves in a pretty good position going up 7-5 on their defense half, but then they weren't able to get much on their attack side. So, those accusations of this map being better for attackers, I guess I was wrong. At least if this match is anything to go off of. So for the stats for this one, Autumn did do pretty well with the +7. Seems like he was the best player for FPX on this match. Life, who is kind of seen as their best player, only got 16 kills and went -5 for the entire round and only a 0.79 VLR rating. So some decent numbers by Autumn and Lizor, with +1 for Lizor there and 1.17 VLR rating, but overall just not enough to stop the Brazilian super team. Whereas Les had a very good match on the Cypher. I'm glad he's not only playing Viper now. I do like to see him play some other characters. 24, 13, and 7 for +11 with a rating of 1.47. Very solid work there. Sadek having a good match for himself with a 1.14 rating, 19, 17, and 12. Kawazine and Tui's having solid matches as well. Quick, not doing great on that map, going 11, 20, and 3 on the Jet, so you definitely want him to have more kills on that duelist role, but they won the match, so it doesn't really matter. But Quick is starting to kind of concern me with his play. Not that he's playing terrible or anything, but if they're going to be tournament contenders, they need him to play to a different level. But overall, a solid match for that Loud team. FPX definitely getting something out of it on that second map, but again, just not enough to stop this Brazilian super team. I'm very curious to see if we see FPX in Shanghai. I don't know if they keep their spot as the second best team, at least standings wise, in the China region. There are some good teams there that could surpass them, but overall, the predictions that a lot of people had of FPX not winning even a map did end up being true. So if they can find something at the international level in the future, it'd be nice, but right now it still seems like China is a bit of a one-team region. Moving on to the second match that happened today, the absolute banger of a match, PaperX versus Team Heretics. Now, I was cheering for PaperX for this one. I do want PaperX to win a tournament this year, and they were definitely making me think that they're not going to do it and that they were going to go out doing this match, but they ended up pulling it together and started to remember, oh wait, we're supposed to be one of the best teams in the world. Maybe we should actually play like it. So it did end up being that 2-1 victory in favor of PaperX. PaperX taking the first map of Sunset 13-10, which was their pick. Lotus going in favor of Team Heretics just by the skin of their teeth. PaperX probably could have had that one as well, but a couple of mistakes here and there, a couple of small things, and Heretics were able to overcome with some great play by their players. And split, Heretics did end up going up 6-2 on that first half, but then PaperX just stormed their way back and only allowed Heretics to win one other round during that entire second half, as well as just on that round 9. They just ended up storming their way back. Looking at the stats on Sunset, we had Rhines do pretty well, going 22, 18, and 11 on the Sova with a rating of 1.16. Miniboo showing yet again that he is a force to be reckoned with, went 20, 18, and 7 on the Neon with a 1.13 rating. Benji Fish going even on the Cypher, 17, 17, and 5. Boo having a decent match, 15, 15, and 6. And then Patatex having a pretty rough map, going 8, 20, and 15 with a -12. So definitely not what you're looking for if you're Team Heretics. Whereas on the Paper X side, some pretty good numbers overall. Something redeeming himself on the get-go from that poor performance he showed earlier in the tournament on that agent, going 19, 14, and 7. VLR rating being the top of the team with a 1.22. Forsaken showing yet again that you can play any agent on the KO, going 20, 17, and 7 with a +3. Monyet on the Omen playing a character that he is much more comfortable with than Raze. I'll get to more about that later, but he did have a decent first map, going 18, 19, and 11. Mind Freak with the +2, 17 kills on the Viper, and Devi not having a great map kills wise, but he did have a decent reign overall, and they won the map, so it doesn't matter. Then on Lotus with the 13-10 win for Team Heretics, this is where we saw Miniboo really shine with a +9, going 23, 14, and 10. Benji Fish, solid work as well, going 24, 13, and 2 on the Killjoy, +11. He had some really good plays today. Ryan's on the get-go, 18, 13, and 4 with a +5, 1.24 VLR rating. Boo going -1, but playing the Omen, so it doesn't really matter, and still having a decent performance overall with 14, 15, and 9. And Patatex struggling yet again, 9, 15, and 7. He definitely did not have a good match today. Something on the Jet went 24, 14, and 2, +10 there, 1.33 VLR rating. He had a very good match today. Was very glad to see him do well after struggling on that first match against EDG. Devi going 12, 18, and 10, not what you want out of him. Mind Freak 12, 18, and 7 on the Omen, -6. And Forsaken not doing great on the Cypher, 10, 19, and 9. And then Monyet with probably the roughest map of the match, going 12, 19, and 8. Monyet on that Raze is definitely concerning me to this point. They did end up making a switch for that last map, and I feel like maybe they should probably try to keep Monyet on a different agent. I don't know if the Raze is working out for him. They're not getting the same or even close to the same amount of value as they were getting from Jane, which is to be expected. Jane is the best Raze player in the world, at least a lot of people see him as that. So trying to replace that either way is going to be a tough ask for any player, but it just seems like Monyet, I think you should maybe just keep him on Omen or on a different character, because it doesn't seem like he's as comfortable on the Raze, and he was making some pretty bad mistakes overall. And I do think that when they made that switch, it did benefit the team quite a bit, because when they put him on that Omen, he did much better, and Forsaken was the player to play the Raze on Split. He went 22, 12, and 7. Forsaken can play any character. If they end up keeping Monyet off of that Raze and just have Forsaken pick up that Raze slack when it's needed, I think I'm fine with that. Forsaken can play any agent and still look like the best player in any map, so I do think that's probably what they should do in the future. It worked here, could work again. 1.47 rating for Forsaken there. Devi doing pretty well for himself as well, going 14, 9, 15, +5, and a 1.32 rating. Something on the Jet with that double duelist comp working for them in spades today, going 18, 12, and 4, +6. Monyet, as I said, making that switch made him play better, 14, 12, and 13 for him, 1.19 rating for him. Mindfree going -4 with the Viper, but it doesn't really matter. He's Viper. He went 7, 11, and 2. On the Heretics side, some rough numbers overall. Patatek yet again having a really rough map for himself. He did not have a good match today. -11 for him, going 5, 16, and 7. Benji Fish being the best player on the team for that last map on Split, 21, 15, and 3. 1.21 rating for him on the Cypher. Boo -2. Ryan's -4. Mini Boo -8. Mini Boo, rough last map for him. If he had played to the level that he was playing on Lotus, then Heretics probably win. They're probably still at Madrid. So for Team Heretics, they are out of the tournament. They are the hometown team, so we will not see a Spanish team at Madrid anymore, which is unfortunate for that hometown crowd. But at the same time, I think Heretics, they're a rookie team. Maybe the expectations for them was a little bit too high coming out of that EMEA kickoff. They did look very strong. They do have some really good pieces there, but at the end of the day, they are a team of rookies. It might take some time for this team to truly be an international tournament contender. They took a map against both teams that they played against in Sentinels and Paper X, but they weren't able to close out either of those matches. And that is kind of where the experience, I think, comes in, because you're going to get nervous. It's a very high stakes situation. And then you have performances like Petatex, where maybe you're crumbling under the pressure a bit. He did say that he was very disappointed in his play today, which, I don't think he should beat himself too much up about it, but these things happen. And this is a really good learning experience for that young team. They did face two absolutely insane teams in Sentinels and Paper X. So hopefully they can take what they learned from this tournament and apply it to that EMEA regular season split and continue to look like one of the top teams in EMEA. They have to do some player switches. Mini Boot isn't going to play every single match for them. Woot isn't going to play every single match for them either. Pat Attack is going to be in and out. So we'll see how they do, if they can find consistency with those roster changes that they just have to do. But I think that this team is dangerous and they should be able to absorb those losses. On the Paper X side, I'm glad they won, but I'm still worried about their chances in this Madrid tournament. They are not feeling as confident as they were in previous international tournaments. Even the coach said so, saying that their confidence level was about at a 6 out of 10. So I am concerned for their chances going forward. I really hope they find a way to make something out of this tournament. I really hope that they make playoffs tomorrow. This team is bound for a tournament win at some point. I don't think Madrid is the one where it happens, but it is probably one of the better chances that they're going to have with this being an 8-team tournament. They do have a rough matchup tomorrow. It's going to be rough to get out of that Swiss stage as expected, but I was glad to see that at the end of this match they were able to persevere when push came to shove and were able to take it to Team Heretics and looked like the team that I think that they can be. I do think that they can still be one of the best teams in the world. I think that they can be tournament contenders. They just need to look consistent with it because that's been their problem so far this season. So looking ahead to the matches that are happening tomorrow, we have Loud versus EDG. This is the rematch that we have been waiting for quite some time, since Tokyo. Loud definitely has not forgotten about EDG absolutely embarrassing them at Masters Tokyo last year. So this is their chance to redeem themselves. They don't have Ass Pass, but I do think that they can beat EDG. EDG is kind of looking like how they do it at every international, where they start really hot, they look really good, but then later in the tournament, teams start to figure them out. And Loud look composed against FPX. They are a very experienced team. I think they absolutely should beat EDG, so I am picking Loud to beat them for that one. But EDG has been able to beat them before, so it's not going to be completely easy for them. Then we have the much closer, in my opinion, matchup with Carmine Corp versus Paper X. Carmine Corp beating FPX in the first match of the tournament and then losing 2-0 to Sentinels. They're going to look for a redemption match here. Paper X looking not as confident as they were before, but maybe regaining some momentum with that win over Heretics, proving that they can still beat top teams in the world. Carmine Corp is seen as one of the favorites for this tournament, so Paper X, this is going to be their biggest challenge yet. I am picking KC for this one. I do think they're the better team, and Paper X, they just don't look like the same as they used to, but I really, really hope that Paper X prove me wrong here. Carmine Corp is still a team full of a lot of rookies and not a ton of experience at the international stage. So Paper X have that advantage over them, but experience isn't everything. You're going to have to come in very prepared. You don't have a lot of time to prepare. So it's going to be a very uphill battle for both teams, really. KC should not take Paper X lightly, and Paper X should not take KC lightly. So I'm very curious to see how these matches end up going. Let me know what you guys thought of the match today and the upcoming matches in the comment section down below. Please click like if you enjoyed this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.